Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another Walking Dead video from the Thrifty Typewriter. And the topic for today's video is, how will the Walking Dead universe actually end? That is a very good question. I honestly have no idea. I honestly don't think AMC will let the universe end. Just because, one, it's basically the only thing AMC really has, and two, it is their biggest IP. I mean, if you go on AMC's streaming site and you look at shows A through Z, at least half of the shows on here are all Walking Dead related. I mean, you've got The Walking Dead, the Althea tapes. You've got Fear the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead, Best of Alicia. Best of Madison. Best of Strand. Best of Troy. Fear the Walking Dead, Dead in the Water. Generation Dead, the Walking Dead fan documentary. What else do you got? Show Me More Fear the Walking Dead docuseries. Tales of the Walking Dead. Talking Dead. The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead Best of Carol. Best of Daryl. Best of Maggie. Best of Michonne. Best of Negan. Best of Rick. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. The Walking Dead Dead City. The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live. The Walking Dead World Beyond. Whew. And I mean, that's probably at least more than half their shows that they have listed. So I don't think AMC is ever going to let the Walking Dead universe end. Now, I think, how do I want to word it? To me, I don't think The Walking Dead is over until all the characters from that show get a full, complete ending. You know, yes, we did get the final season. We did see the final episode. A lot of characters, I think, did get full, complete endings. Let's see, like King Ezekiel and Mercer. I think they got a full, solid, complete ending. Maybe we'll never see them again, but, you know, they are now in charge of the Commonwealth. They are the leaders. You know, I think that was a good, solid ending. Eugene, he got married, I think, to what's her name, and they had baby Rosie, and they're living in the Commonwealth. Maybe we'll never see him again either, but either way, I think he has a full, complete ending to his story. Then we've got all these characters still going. Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Negan, you know, they're still out there doing their own thing. Once those characters get full, complete endings, whether they live, die, whatever, once those characters get full, complete endings, that's when I will consider The Walking Dead, close the book on it. Then it's done. But as for the universe, no, I think AMC will keep it going. We'll probably get all new shows, all new characters, all new stories. Yeah, I just don't think AMC will let the Walking Dead universe end. But that's my guess. But yeah, let's check out the video and see how will the Walking Dead universe potentially end. Here we go.
Recently, there's been a lot of talk about the end of The Walking Dead. Not the end of the spin-offs, not the end of the series, but the actual end to the entire universe. While we still have a little ways to go, a couple more spin-offs probably, a few more seasons of the spin-offs that we have, it seems that we're finally reaching the beginning of the end. So this got me thinking, what does the end of The Walking Dead actually look like? Who's gonna make it to the finish line? Who's gonna have a happy ending? Do we find a cure? Is it really all just gonna be Rick's dream? God, I hope not.
That would
Scott
be
Gimple
insane.
recently made some comments that gave a good indicator as to where this universe is heading, and
Okay.
for what we've seen so far in the spin-offs, I've got a few good guesses and a few theories as to how all of this is actually gonna end. I'm going to go over a few of those possible scenarios that I feel like could be or could be somewhere in the ballpark as to how all of this will end. I'll go over those, why I think they could work, and also why they couldn't work. This conversation might be a bit too early. It might make a few of you who don't want to see the series go a little uncomfortable, or on the flip side, a few of you really happy because you think the series has run its course. So let's talk the true and final...
Now, I think there's still too many questions left unanswered. You know, like at the end of World Beyond, you know, we saw that little post-credit scene and stuff like that, and they were in France, and you know, that guy who shot that woman who turned into a walker, and you know, she was like slamming into the door, and the door was starting to bend and stuff like that. You know, maybe it'll get answered in Daryl Dixon season 2. I don't know. Who was she? Who was that guy that killed her? What's with the variant walkers and stuff like that? You know, it just still seems like there's still so many questions left unanswered. I don't know.
End of the Walking Dead universe. I mentioned something Scott Gimple said recently that really inspired the premise of this video. He said that eventually the goal is to have all of the spin-offs, Dead City, Daryl Dixon, The Ones Who Live, maybe even Fear, come together in a limited spin-off series like a sort of Avengers Endgame style of story to finally put an end to the universe. So if we're putting together the Avengers from the series, we're going to be getting Rick, Michonne, Maggie, Negan, Daryl, Carol, and possibly Morgan and Madison Clark. That's a pretty great lineup. We haven't seen all these characters on screen together either ever or for a very long time. And who knows, maybe one or multiple of these characters will be killed off before this hypothetical Endgame series comes to be. But the real question is, what will it be about? In Daryl Dixon, we obviously have a central conflict involving France, this new regime trying to take over, variant walkers, and a possible new leader of the world with Laurent. In Dead City, we have Negan going to take up the mantle of the leader in New York City. We have the Marshals, and they seem to be going after the chemical resources that Negan's group is in possession of. In Fear, Morgan has gone off to go search for Rick, and they're still wrapping things up with the rest of the characters, and there's already a pretty big split in audiences, so maybe they just made Morgan leave so that way they can wrap things up with those characters
I think that was
them
the
a proper ending.
Morgan
we don't know about the Ones Who
focus
Live yet. Obviously, it might
group.
end with Rick and Michonne back at the Commonwealth, or maybe there will be set up for a second season. That's an entirely different conversation in and of itself, but if you look at the plots for Daryl Dixon and Dead City, there still seems to be a ways to go before these stories will tie together. They've both set up second seasons to be self-contained stories, unless the Marshals from Dead City are going to go to France or something like that. There really isn't any connective tissue between these two series as of yet. And there really wasn't anything to set up a larger universe or like connect it to anything else in Dead City at
least
all.
Not yet.
I kept expecting some sort of CRM connection or something along those lines, but there wasn't anything like that. However, in Daryl Dixon, that was the opposite. Still no mention of the CRM, but there was one scene that really propelled these talks of a larger connected universe forward, and to the fan base it's really the scene that everybody talks about the most. Daryl gets on the radio with Carol, and as it starts cutting out, Carol mentions that somebody came back, though we don't know who that someone is. People, of course, thought it was Rick, but other popular theories suggested Morgan or even Dwight. Now, Carol is on the search for Daryl, which will be a large basis for the second season of the show, but whoever it is that came back could really be the inciting incident for this start to connect these shows together. Let's think for a moment that maybe it is Rick. If it was, Carol probably would have just flat out said it, and Rick also would probably have gone with Carol to search for Daryl. But let's just say that it is. Did Rick single-handedly just take out the whole CRM with some help from Michonne? I highly doubt it, and if Michonne did help Rick actually escape, the CRM isn't going to take that lightly. Remember what the person in the helicopter said to Rick? There's no escape for the living. So if this is Rick, you can bet that the CRM will come knocking at the door, and they'll need everybody to help defend the place, including Daryl. But, and I've said this before, I don't think it's Rick. I don't think that the timelines add up, and I think he's still in
Fair
Philadelphia.
point, yeah.
So let's talk Morgan and Dwight. If Morgan returned to find Rick, he obviously wouldn't find him, but maybe he'd hear that he's alive. Michonne went looking for him, so Morgan goes and joins in on the search.
Makes
This would
sense.
mean that Morgan could show up in The Ones Who Live, which I think is a very real possibility.
Yeah, I do
so
too.
what about Dwight? Dwight could end up being the character to connect us to Dead City. Maybe he goes to the Commonwealth, but wanting to avoid Daryl when he comes back with Carol, since he said he'd kill him if he ever saw him again, he
Yeah, that
goes
was a
to Maggie's
long
new
time
home,
ago.
the Bricks. Maggie could very well enlist his help to go after Negan, something that Dwight
Ooh.
would definitely want to do, and after this task is dealt with, they'll
Not a
all
bad
return
idea.
to the Commonwealth, Carol brings back Daryl, and Rick and Michonne come home. This could lead us to this Endgame limited series, our group of Avengers versus the CRM or the variant walkers of France that were brought to America to end the series once and for all
Okay.
and bring forth the new world. So
Okay.
in this Endgame type series,
like that.
I think it could actually end a few different ways. Let's start with the good ending. I think everybody wants to see Rick and Michonne reunite with their kids,
Yeah.
live happily ever after, and grow old together.
Of course.
Judith told Daryl that he deserves a happy ending, something that Laurent reiterated to
can't
Daryl,
have
so
Judith
maybe
not
Daryl
see
and Isabel will come
Rick
to
or
America
Michonne
with
again.
Laurent. They'll all be one big happy family. It'll be great. Maggie is having a tough time parenting young Herschel, mostly because she's so hell-bent to get revenge on Negan, which she did get, at least as far as she knows. I don't know. I'm still very confused by Dead City. I'm not sure what they can do with these characters. I'm not sure Maggie will ever be happy again, but it's gotta happen somehow if all of these characters get their happily ever after.
What game
All
is
of our
this?
Avengers will beat the CRM, stop the production and experiments on these variant walkers, and will work on building a new life together, continuing Rick's work from the beginning of Season 9. This is probably the ending that a lot of people want. Hell, it's the ending we all deserve after watching all these different shows and keeping up with the franchise for well over a decade, but this also seems a little too easy. All of our characters with a happy ending, growing old together.
Yeah,
Hell,
it's not
throw in
gonna
the
happen.
Cure in this scenario too while we're at it.
No.
Rick becomes the new president of the United States and all the zombies are gone. Maybe that's taking it a bit too far,
Yeah,
but in this
that's-
happily ever after scenario, anything is on the table. But all of this
I mean, true,
seems
but-
too easy.
Yeah.
Yes, our characters have been through dozens of hardships over the years. Maybe they deserve a happy ending, but it doesn't mean they're gonna get one.
Right.
Would it be disappointing after all these years for Rick to finally get home and then have to end up sacrificing himself again for the
Yeah,
good of
that
his
would-
people?
that would suck.
Yes, it would. Would it suck
would
if
suck.
Daryl, after everything he's done for Isabel and Laurent, to have to let them go in order to go back to America? Yes, because Judith is right. He does deserve a happy ending. Would it suck if Maggie, I don't know, doesn't get her son to love her and kill Negan? I don't know. I don't really know what she wants. But the point is, if all of our Avengers get to live happily ever after, it compromises the stakes of this universe and breaks apart the stakes of this world. This is a post-apocalyptic
come down to a
wasteland.
battle between them and
People
CRM,
become too far gone with
there's
no
gonna
means
be
of coming back.
a
It's been a few
few
years
major
since the show
character
really
deaths.
dealt with these themes. Back in the heyday of like season 5, this was front and center, but it also has been a few years since there were really any stakes at all. The last time an important main character died was all the way back in season 9, 2019, with the episode The Calm Before. So is it possible no
yeah,
main
it's
characters
true.
die from here on out? Yes, it certainly is, but it shouldn't be. Especially in this world as it's shown currently. Rick has been held prisoner for like close to a decade by this
Yep.
tyrannical entity known as the CRM. They have all the resources in the world to stomp on literally anybody who gets in their way, and for our ragtag group of Avengers, a lot of them getting quite up there in age, to take them down in a 6-episode endgame series would really be a letdown.
Yeah.
So what are the stakes gonna be? Are they gonna steal the children just like the Commonwealth did in season 11, and just like the Croat did in Dead City? That'd be pretty lame considering we've seen it before. If Rick escapes, are they going to go and kill one of his children to inspire some sort of change in him? That'd also be pretty lame, considering we've seen that before, too.
Yeah.
All of our characters, all of the people that we care about,
Negan.
cannot all make it through this. A very popular theory is that Negan is going to sacrifice himself to save everyone, especially young Herschel, and that would bring his character full circle, so that would be a great choice. But is Negan's death enough of a price to pay for all of this to feel realistic and emotional enough for everybody else to get their happy endings? Maybe, but
I guess
probably
depends on
not.
how it's written.
I think, and this is the part where I'm going to lose a lot of people, there's a very real possibility that none of our characters get a happy ending. If the big bad in this endgame show is the CRM, it's going to take a lot to take them down.
Yeah.
The full force of our Avengers, the Commonwealth, Negan's New York City squad, the Marshals, maybe even everybody in France to take down the CRM. There's going to be bloodshed, there's going to be fire, there's going to be death, and it might be at the cost of everything. Maybe everybody gets to reunite and be happy for a moment, but then the war for the world begins.
Yep.
And it really, truly wipes out everything. All of our characters...
But then we don't know what, what's his name? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. What's his name from from Commonwealth? Not Sebastian. Oh my god. Lance. We don't know what he was up to. Because I thought, didn't he say something very cryptid? The people I work with or work for aren't going to like this or something like that. So, another potential unanswered question, at least for right now. Maybe something like that could come into effect. Just saying.
Or at least most of them die, they don't get to live happily ever after, and they've done everything they can for the people that they care about the most, the next generation. This universe has already spent quite a bit of time building up the next generation of survivors. They dedicated an entire show to it with World Beyond. We have primary characters like Judith and Laurent, and I think the groundwork may well be set for this next generation to take over. And I'm not saying for a new show, we saw how that went and it didn't work, but for the actual end of the series. We actually almost got this ending with the main series itself. If we didn't get that Rick and Michonne scene at the end of the series, there was an alternate ending featuring, you guessed it, the next generation. Judith, RJ, Coco, and all the kids of the Commonwealth together, but older. I'm not sure if we'll ever get to see this scene for ourselves. It's possible, but I think they'd be smart to keep the scene locked up in a vault somewhere, because a remake or reworking of the scene could be what actually ends this universe. If all of our heroes go out in a war with the CRM, that would leave Laurent, let's say he's in America for this instance, a character who's already thought to be this new leader and messiah of the new world, in charge of all these kids that we've seen throughout the series. And I truly think in some way, shape, or form, this will be the true ending. The next generation takes over to build a new world, have this series be a commentary on our world and how it's the next generation's turn to take over, yada yada yada, whatever you want the message to be. I think this is how it's going to play out. Cutting ahead a few years to see the kids grown up in a world that thrives because of the sacrifices their parents and elders made. There's also the recent talks of HBO rebooting the series in modern day, which I kinda called with my video, by the way, but I have some mixed feelings on this. On one hand, it would be way too soon to see somebody else step into the boots of Rick Grimes, but maybe HBO would adapt a different story. There's a lot of possibilities, but in one way or another, AMC's The Walking Dead universe is coming to an end sometime over the next couple of years. So be prepared for that to end, be prepared for a reboot, be prepared for a next generation TV show. You never know what they'll do if The Walking Dead keeps on making money. Those are my thoughts and predictions for the end of The Walking Dead. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more videos like this. If you do, then I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. There are some endings on how the Walking Dead universe could actually end. I don't think we'll get a happy ending. I think if it does come down to, those that are group against CRM, there's definitely going to be casualties. There's no way, they can have a war and not have someone, one or two characters die. Yeah, I can't see Rick sacrificing himself after getting back and be like, "Oh, I made it. I'm finally back. I'm reuniting with my kids." All of a sudden, war, and then I'm just gonna sacrifice myself. No, can't. No, I can't really see that either. Negan sacrificing himself. That I don't know. That would be interesting. I don't know. Maybe that would be something to finally make it up to Maggie or something like that. Uh, I don't know. But as for the new generation, that is probably very likely. But if we do go to war with CRM and stuff like that, and we lose, won't CRM kind of move in and kind of take over wherever Commonwealth or CR Commonwealth or Alexandria or something like that, and kind of place like their boot on their neck, so that way like this rebellion can't happen again. You're not going to rebel against us again. So I don't know, because I feel like that would happen. Like, if you do go to war with CRM and you end up losing, obviously CRM is going to move in immediately and make sure there's never another uprising or rebellion again. So how are this new generation supposed to rebuild and stuff when you're going to be living under your CRM masters? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. But it still seems like there's still a lot of questions, although we still got, more seasons of more shows to answer, maybe these questions. Like what I said, what Lance said to, was it Pamela before he died? Something about people he worked with or working for, something like that. Then the thing at France at the end of World Beyond. No idea. I have no idea. But yeah, I honestly can't see, like I said, the universe ending. I think AMC will continue The Walking Dead in some way, some form. Because once The Walking Dead ends, like I said, what does AMC have? What are they going to do? Go back to like their old classic movies and stuff like that? Nothing wrong with that, but like, how many times are you going to put on like Die Hard, Jaws, the old classic movies, I mean, I don't know. It will be interesting, and he did make a video about HBO. Yeah, no idea. Your guess is as good as mine, but that was a very interesting video on potential ways on how it's going to end. It's probably not Rick who came back, in the world beyond, not world beyond, Daryl Dixon, where someone came back, not knowing, I agree, not Rick, because timelines and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure that would be the main thing you would lead with, once you get on the phone with Daryl. Hey, Rick's back. That's like the first thing you would absolutely say, hey, Rick's back. It's not something you'd be like, "Oh yeah, how's things?" "Oh, I miss you," and stuff like that. "I hope you come back soon." "Yeah, the kids are great." Blah 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 blah. "Oh, by the way, Rick's back." Excuse me, what? I'm on my way back. So yeah, maybe Morgan. Morgan would be a really good likely choice, because then he goes and finds Rick. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, but I'm sure no matter what, they got everything planned out, how things are going to go and how things are all going to intertwine and connect and just go from there. But yeah, so there we go. This was a really good video and stuff like that. So let me know, what do you guys think? How do you think the Walking Dead universe is going to end? Or are they actually going to end the Walking Dead universe? Do you think they'll just end the Walking Dead, but they'll continue it on, different stories, new characters and stuff like that? Like, okay, yes, we found a cure, blah 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 and stuff like that, but here are some new characters and this is their story from like a few years ago type of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me know. So anyways, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. Follow me on social media. And yeah, come join me over on Discord. We can talk more Walking Dead and stuff like that. And other than that, yeah, if you guys have any videos you want me to check out, leave a link down below, because I'd love to check out more Walking Dead videos while we wait for the ones who live. Still got like, what, 2-3 weeks away until it begins. So yeah, always looking for videos to fill in until then. So anyways, other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.